Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you watched my last video, you might remember me talking about how the weather conditions in the UK are totally unpredictable. Well, I think I've just proved myself right. Look at it. It snowed again. Awesome. Now, it actually snowed a couple of days ago, but I haven't really had time to go out and take photos. But I'm out today, so that's all that matters. So I'm actually as local as you can get, to be honest. I've walked about 5 minutes from my house to an area, a tiny little nature reserve called Portland Great Park. I think the locals call it the Quarries. Correct me if I'm wrong if you watch this. And I've actually been to this woodland so many times before. Like I said, it's only a 5-minute walk from where I live. It's as local as it gets. But I've never really seen it in the snow. Every other time it's snowed, I've kind of headed off to the other woodlands that you saw me in my first video. So I thought today I might as well, especially while I can only stay local, go and check it out in the snow. So I'm going to walk you around here and we're going to see if we can find some really nice photo opportunities. Let me take you with me. Guys, I nearly absolutely stacked it then. When it's really icy like this, please remember to take care and wear sensible shoes. I've got my wellies on, which are good at keeping my feet dry, but they're not the grippiest things in the world. Just heed my warning. I could have destroyed all my equipment then. Oh well, let's go. So, I'm just stopping off at a tree that I've walked past on countless occasions and just thought it looked magnificent. Now, I'm not entirely sure what species of tree this is. If anyone could let me know, that would be great. At first I thought it was an oak, but I'm not quite sure now. I think it might be a type of willow, but again, I'm not sure, so please let me know if you know. But just look at the way it's coming out of those rocks there. And the way it's growing, it's just, it's amazing. Just goes to show how nature, or in the wise words of Dr. Ian Malcolm, life finds a way. Little throw out for any Jurassic Park fans out there. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick photo of this and put it up for you to have a look at. Not sure how well it's going to work because, like I said, we've got such blue skies, so I might turn it black and white. I'm not sure, but you guys will see very soon. I'm not going to stop for too long because, again, this is a very, very busy path. I don't want to get in the way of anyone. I'm saying that a lot at the moment. Staying local means most of the areas around me are high traffic areas for people out on their daily walks, obviously. So I'm going to take this one nice and quick and put it up on the screen for you, and we're going to carry on. Right guys, something a bit different. Something really different actually. So I've made my way over to this pond area in the middle of Portland Great Park. It's a man-made pond. I think it used to be part of a mill, so the sort of pond that would feed water through to the mill. I'm not 100% sure. Please let me know if you know. if you're local and you're watching this, because I have no idea. I should have done my research, and I always like finding stuff out like this. So anyway, what caught my eye was the ice on the far end of this pond. And I thought, as I was crossing the bridge earlier, let's do something a little bit abstract, something different, because, well, I don't know why, just to sort of test my artistic photography side. And what really drew my attention when I walked over to have a look at the ice was this vibrant green. It looks like bamboo, but I think it's the root of a lily, I'm not sure. So it's this vibrant green, really squiggly lines frozen into this ice here. And I just thought it looked really cool. So I've had a bit of an issue trying to get my tripod in the right position so that I could point my camera right down. So I've had to kind of prop it up on the fence here like this. But I think I've got good composition of the lilies below. So what I've done is I've actually got a new zoom lens. I've got a 55 to 300mm Nikon lens now, not Tamron. And I must say, I really love my Tamron lens, but this is amazing. The focusing so much quicker, just saves a lot of hassle. Anyway, so I've got that on, and I am zoomed into, let me just check, because I can't remember. I've got to lean over the fence now. Let's hope I don't fall in. Oh, I'm zoomed into about 65mm, 60mm. And I'm just pointing pretty much straight down at this ice here. So yeah, that is what my photo is, and I just think it looks like a really interesting abstract image. So I'm going to take the photo now. I'm on ISO 100. Got my tripod, so I don't need to worry about bumping that up. F11 to get everything in focus, and 1/5 of a second. Just focusing on one of the green bits, and I'm going to take a photo of that, and I'm going to take a couple different orientations, and I'll put them up for you to have a look at. Got a 5-second timer on, just so it reduces any shake. Oh, it definitely looks different, but I kind of like it. I think more photographers should do these sort of shots. Actually, they might not end up being amazing, but they really do test your creative side. Rather than, I'm not saying that other landscape photography is not creative. I wouldn't say that, because that's what I do, and that would be selling myself out. But I think, let's say you've got a bit bored of taking the classic landscape or woodland shots. I never will, but I think something like this is a really good refresher on composition and, you know, just, well, composition really. It's good at refreshing your sort of mindset when it comes to creating a piece of art out of a piece of landscape. And that's what I think I've done. Well, I wouldn't say this is a piece of art, but I think I've really used my creative side here, and I think I've come out with something nice and just different. That's the key word here, different to what I normally get. So I'm going to take a few more of these in different orientations, and I'll put a couple up for you to have a look at. Please let me know what you think, and whether you think I should do some more of these type of shots in the future. I think I'm going to either way. It doesn't matter what you say. It does really matter what you say. I really appreciate your comments. So I'm going to take a couple more, and yeah, I think it looks really nice. Right, so I've literally walked about 1 minute from where I just was, and I found this little bridge that someone's made with some logs over the stream, and I'm going to take a photo of it. It looks really cool. I also really like the fact that there's two trees making sort of an arch over the stream as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down in the water, and I'm going to get my camera set up, and I'm going to try a little bit of a long exposure. So I'm going to use my 35mm prime lens because I've got some ND filters for that, and I also think the focal length is going to work here. I just want to say apologies if you hear any screaming children in the background. I'm very close to a bit of a slope where there's some kids going sledging. So if you hear any screaming, that's what it is. Let's get on with the photo. Right, so I've had to come back out of the water onto the bank because my focal length when I was down in the water, it was just too kind of long to get everything in the image. Now you're probably wondering why I didn't use just stick my 10 to 20mm wide angle lens on, and like I said before, I just don't have any ND filters for that lens at this point in time, so I wouldn't be able to slow down the shutter speed as much as I'd like to. That being said, I do have some ND filters for my 35mm that will fit my 35mm prime lens, and I've got a 10 stop filter on at the moment, so that's on the front of the camera, and what that's allowing me to do is just let 10 stops less light into the camera, meaning that I can slow my shutter speed right down and get that nice smooth looking effect on the water. It's a bit touch and go with how well this long exposure effect is going to work here, because the water's not moving too fast, so it might not really do much for the image at all, but even so, I like the composition, so even without a long exposure effect, I think it'll look quite good. So what I've had to do, I've had to put my remote shutter release cable in, because being at this sort of long exposure, any sort of movement in the camera is going to make the photo go all blurry, so this just eliminates that issue. I've also had to pre-focus the shot because once I screwed that ND filter into the camera I couldn't see anything, so if I hadn't pre-focused it and turned it into manual focus like I have now, it might try and hunt for a new focal point whilst I'm taking a photo, which just cause blurry image again. One more thing, I've also used an app on my phone to figure out how long the exposure is going to be. So at the moment, I figured out it's going to take me 3.5 minutes to get a correct exposure with this shot. So I'm going to take that now. Alright, so I'm going to press them at the same time. 3, 2, 1. Oh, hang on, my timer's still on as well, so just wait for that to go. There we go, so 3.5 minutes. Yeah, just wait for that for a second. Just wanted to talk through with you guys how important it is to go out and photograph locally. So even if you don't think you've got anywhere nice to go and take photos of, I think you do, no matter where you live. Not everyone's going to live near a sort of nice woodland like I do, unfortunately. But even if you live in the middle of a city, you're going to have some green spaces you can go to, some parks you can go to. And I think the shots I took earlier of the sort of abstract reeds in the ice are a good example of what you can do even if you don't live like near a woodland or a big open landscape. And I just really want to encourage you guys to go out there with your camera, because even if you don't get the most amazing shots in the world, it's still going to be practice for when you can eventually go back out after lockdown. And that's what I think I'm doing now. I know I'm very lucky to live near this area and to have had all this snow, but I just really think you should go out there and take some photos, no matter what. And that's my challenge for you guys. Go out, take some photos, even if you live in the middle of a city. And I think you'd be surprised with what you can get if you just really think about zoning in on some more intimate subjects, like I did earlier. Yeah. Just still got, let's have a look, let's just check this out. Still got 2 minutes left on the timer. So I want you guys to think about what I just said about going out and taking advantage of having to stay local. Because I know in my point, you know, for me, before I was forced to stay local, I never really, I think I just took it for granted that I lived near all this. I didn't really go out and take photos of it. I just went out for a little walk. I didn't go and think, oh, I can get some good photos. So I just want you to think about that for the next minute and a half. I'm going to speed it up for you guys, don't you worry. Just while we wait for this long exposure. So see you in just a second. Oh, what were we doing again? Oh yeah, a long exposure. Right, we've got 10 seconds left. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shutter off. And I'll just have a look at that. Drop in my shutter release while I'm at it. And do you know what? The long exposure has made no effect on the photo whatsoever. The water's not flowing fast enough. But I don't mind. Like I said before, I like the composition. And I'm still going to work with it. But at least, like I said before, I'm out during lockdown locally getting some practice in with my long exposures. Okay, this time it didn't work, but I practiced, you know, screwing it on, measuring out the time needed for the photo, using my remote shutter release. Okay, didn't get the best photo, long exposure didn't work, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, really didn't work. Right, so thank you guys for watching. Please consider dropping a like on this video and subscribing to my channel. There's going to be more local content coming until we're out of this lockdown. So I really hope you follow me on my local journey. And it's going to be so exciting when I can finally go out, probably going to Peak District straight away. But that is in the indefinite future. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'll put this picture up for you to have a look at so you can see how miserably the long exposure failed, but I hope you like the composition. As always, thanks for watching. Goodbye.